she lost control of her bowels and pooed herself. Hello and welcome to the third We Make It Happen podcast, a podcast designed for people within the events and entertainment industry, delving into the funny and maybe the not so funny aspects of all our lives.
Oh my God, you did it first time.
Oh, no, I did it first time last time
No, you
as
didn't.
well.
You messed it up.
No.
I messed it up. Bleep that out.
I'm already going to have to put the bleep in straight away. We've only just started.
Oh, and it's easy to find. It's literally 7 seconds in.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us on our third episode already. I do know that we skipped a week. Sorry about that. Because I did say, what we'll do is we'll have every other week. And then what happened was life, really.
Yep.
So I committed to every other week to then go, actually, we'll wait 3 weeks this time.
Always keep them wanting more.
Let's have a quick introduction of who we are. So as you may know, I am Callum, a.k.a. Sweet on Sax. All the way over there, this is what I did last time. All the way over there is...
Chris Sticks. I keep wanting to say Chris Sticks, and I've got that in my head. Chris Sticks drumming, or Christy. So I'm a percussionist, same industry as Callum.
And we have a very special guest with us this week. Magician Andy Harrison.
Hello.
Welcome.
Long time no see.
I know, long time.
Please tell us who you are, what you do, and where you do it.
So my name's Andy Harrison, aka Rockstar Magic. I'm a professional magician and I work in the entertainment industry. A lot of weddings and parties and things like that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Speaking of parties, I've literally had both of you at my party 2 days ago.
Yep.
3
it was
days
awesome.
ago. It was 2 days ago because I was out till 4 a.m. so for me it was 2 days ago. But yeah, absolutely blew me away. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, we were
Very
all
excited
there,
for the footage.
basically being your entertainment for the night.
Yeah.
Free or not so free, I don't know. I was free.
I did pay one of you. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for the booking, Chris.
You're going to get an invoice in the post very soon.
Awesome.
I'm closer friends with you than I am with you. That's why you owe me a favour.
Well, this podcast might change it. From this point forward, all work that Christy will ask from you will be free.
It was my birthday gift from you.
It might be a charity gig.
Yeah.
I was a child in need.
So every week at the start, almost at the start, we do a podcast check-in where we just ask ourselves how we're doing. So we know that we are very, very, very fortunate and lucky to be in the situation that we are, earning money from the jobs that we do. But sometimes we just want to scream. And here is the place to vent.
Vent away with no swearing, like I just did at the start.
Yeah. So I always ask, do you love or do you loathe your job right now when you think of maybe the last few weeks? So, Andy, we'll start with you. Are you loving or loathing being a magician?
I love my job.
If you say loathing, I will take a refund.
Loathe it. I
will
did this
demand a
awful
refund.
party.
It was
a couple
fine.
of days
It was
ago.
fine until Sunday evening in Leeds at Fibre. No, I absolutely love my job. Love it.
Even right now.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yep. Absolutely love it. You know,
Why?
I've been doing. I think it's people's reactions for me. I think that's what it is. Being able to do something that people scratch their heads over and they just can't figure it out, and just the reactions when I see people's jaws drop, and just I give them that sort of that wonder. Really, it's like, what have I just seen? Like, I just really love it.
Yeah. So there's nothing. Do you ever have a week though where you're like, oh my God, am I doing the wrong thing here? Like, do I still love what I'm doing?
We won't tell anyone.
Apart from all of the people that listen
worldwide.
There might be the odd sort of like occasion where it'll creep into my head if someone particularly doesn't like magic for whatever reason, then they're not going to react like the way you want them to, but I'll find somebody else and they'll just scream and shout and run away and stuff. So it'll just be like, it's not me, it's them.
100%. That's what I've told all my ex-boyfriends. But But no, genuinely, my mum used to hate magic. And she was like, "You really getting a magician?" And then you did one trick for her, and she just looked at me, and she was like, I was like, "I know,
Yeah.
I know." Well, that's actually how I booked you, because I'm not sure if I told Callum, but it was at the Exceed Christmas do.
It was the Halloween party.
Oh, the Halloween one, yeah. And I'd completely missed you, and you just did me like a little kind gesture. I'll just do you a really quick.
Yeah, you
quick
arrived.
trick.
You arrived late, didn't you?
I always do.
Yeah.
Did today.
This is true, isn't it, Callum? Yeah.
Always late, but worth the wait, darling. It's fine. But yeah, so you did like one little trick, like I just woke up like this, like, and my jaw hit the floor, and instantly I got your phone number, and I was like, right, in 4 months you're coming to Leeds.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Anybody go and have a look at Rockstar Magic, because he's absolutely insane.
We're hopefully we might even see a little bit later.
Yeah, sure.
Which I'm looking forward to, and what I'm really looking forward to is somehow mentioning what you're doing for listeners.
Let's dictate it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's gonna be quite interesting.
Or everyone pull over on the hard shoulder completely illegally, and then then watch on Spotify.
I do not condone the idea of doing that. Christy, are you loving or loathing right now?
I can't say either, because I've not really done anything to do with my job. Really, I've been so busy. It's just been chaotic. So my parents, they were clearing out a warehouse to sell it. And my dad's had the warehouse for 40 years, and he's accumulated 40 years worth of hoarding. So that's what I've been doing. I've been in every day for the past 2-3 weeks, heavy lifting and carrying. We found all these ridiculous, like, Santa, which almost look like haunted, like Santa kind of Christmas decorations that are all older than me.
Right.
And then like 5 Singer sewing machines. My parents have a pet shop, so tell me why they're there. Like everything you could possibly find.
I know what they're sewing. If you've got a pet shop, any pets that die, they end up being stuffed animals, don't they? So you're
horrific
using
and also
the
true.
service.
Don't tell people. No, they do not do that. They definitely. Please carry on shopping at my dad's pet store. But yeah, so we've been finding everything. So I've been doing all of that, and then in the middle, I had 2 gigs, which I did actually love. I can go into this, right? So I loved the gigs. However, I absolutely loathed the after bit, because I've been so shattered. I can't even remember what the first gig was. No idea. And then the second gig, it was a 40th Gatsby style party.
Oh, nice.
And I was so tired because I had like 4 hours sleep. I was running around in the warehouse. I then had to drive. Luckily, it was only an hour. But the first set was me, sax and violin. The second set was just me and violin, and the third set was just me. But by that point, the DJ had already upped the ante to like clubland music, because that's what the birthday boy had been asking for. So he couldn't then bring the tempo down. I had to then go on my own, absolutely shattered, sweating buckets with no one to rely on. And everyone was like staring at me, cheering me on. And I was like, no, please make it stop. And that was the one time actually that I've actually driven back home, and I really wanted to pull over and do my little star jumps. That's what I do when I'm shattered. But I couldn't, because I was on the A1. So I had no time, no space to pull in. And I was driving along, and I felt my hand go, and I was like, this is really bad now. I know I should have put on this podcast, but I'd already listened to it because we'd missed a week. But yeah, so I had to like get all the Moams out. I didn't want to call my mum because she was also shattered, but I made it home. I'm here, I'm alive.
When you say Moams, I always pronounce that Mawams.
Yeah, Mawam.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll leave if you like. But yeah, I managed to make it home, but I was absolutely shattered. And then I had to again get up and do the party, and then multiple espresso martinis later, I was flying. So it was all good.
That's the difficult part, though. We always bang on about this, and this is the reason for the podcast, but it is getting home. Now, I know that you do your gigs a bit in the afternoon, and we'll talk about like how you do your gigs, exactly what you do in a bit. I will say though, do I love or loathe? I don't know, and I've been really trying to say, which one. I think
you love Sunday night there.
Yeah, that was great.
Don't sound so sarcastic.
Best gig ever.
Thank you so much. I did try.
So with our jobs, there's a lot of admin involved. And I wrote this down, and I'm going to say exactly what I wrote down because it's quite funny now. I wrote down, Callum will talk about double booking if he has sorted it out by then.
Have you not?
No, I've not actually
sorted it out. Oh my God, Callum. Why are you outing yourself?
Well, I'm not going to say too much because it's something that I still need to sort. But basically, what has happened is, and this seems to happen to me once a year, I would say. I seem to make this accident in admin where it just doesn't end up in my calendar.
Right.
And I'm like, oh no.
Stop that.
No. Well, it happened.
What are you doing?
It happened last year, didn't it?
Yes.
And it was June, July time. But that wasn't my fault, because I realised what had happened was, you know how you have accounts on iCloud? It saved to 2 different accounts, like what I was doing, and then hadn't put one account on my calendar.
Yep.
So all of a sudden I was triple booking myself without even realising what was going on.
I distinctly remember that because I'd hired you for one of those gigs.
Yeah, I know. Oh, there were so many gigs that were affected, and I was trying to like do as many of them as possible and like flit and flop from one to the other really quickly. It was a nightmare. But this one, I think I've messed up because I've just not put it in my calendar.
Yeah.
I know. So and
Have
I
we got a what?
yeah, I do actually. Yeah. So I realised, oh no, there's a mistake. Well, I realised in a really bad way, because I noticed an email that was like, I'd like to book you. And I was like, I never responded to them. I responded to them like, would you still like to book? And they responded to me back like, I've booked you. And I was like, no, you haven't, because there's no more of this email chain left. But it was all on text. And it had gone from email to text, and I missed it.
I hate that.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was like,
Pain in my life.
no. So now, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is because there isn't actually now an issue, because although I was like, I've not sorted this out, I've realised that I can actually do both. I just need to slightly move the time of one. And I'm like, I think that's going to be okay.
Yes.
I think it is going to be okay. But I was a bit like, oh no, not again. Because I've done really well this year. I've done that. Have you ever double booked?
I have, yeah, a couple of times. We're only human at the end of the day, and certain things can happen. Yeah, so
We're not all perfect like myself.
Who's never double booked?
Never double booked.
You've never double booked.
Honest to God.
Never.
Oh, my mother's life.
I would love to say, yeah, that's because you're just not getting booked, but there, but you actually are quite a lot, so I can't even say that.
Wow.
Well, I think a lot of people do try and get me on. Like, I've seen Kat Hansen, she has like all this really fancy tech stuff, and she started doing this TikTok for a musician with ADHD and how she like handles all of her bookings and her invoices. And she showed me it before, how you pay like a subscription and it'll send off chasing emails and it'll send off the payment links and stuff like that. But it just freaks me out because I don't really know how to use it.
Do you know what that's
and I
called?
know that,
Is that Gigio? Because someone's told me about this before.
I don't think it's Gigio. I think it's something else.
Oh, well, if you do know, please let us know, because I could definitely deal with something like that. I've been very close to hiring a PA.
No, literally. But the thing is with me, like I say, fortunately, I've never had a problem. So I'm like, if I know how it all works, and I know exactly that if I'm doing it, I'm hopefully not going to cock it up, and I can't blame anyone else, then that's why I just rather maybe do it the longer, more manual way. But...
Yeah, I've done it a few too many times now.
You really have.
It's. I'd say, do you know what? When I think about myself as a professional.
Also, sorry, slight disclaimer.
Yeah, no.
You are so goddamn busy.
Yeah, but it's not an
The
excuse.
fact, no, but the fact how you haven't done it more baffles me. Like we're saying that you did it once last year and once this year, but in the grand scheme of things, that is impressive. With how many gigs you have.
Last year though, did I? I did it a lot of times.
I'm trying to say.
Can you count on one hand how many times you did it last year, or is it more than one hand?
Well, because my calendar went way.
Yeah.
I think I double booked maybe 8 or 9.
Oh my God.
In one space as well. It was all in the same month, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even know. But we knew that there was an issue because it was something connected to, you messaged me, you texted me, and I texted you back, and it came from my email account rather than my actual telephone number.
It was coming through like iCloud, your iCloud account.
Yeah.
So we knew something was going up, and then all of that was at the exact same time that I messed quite a lot of gigs up.
Do you find that though, like certain times in the year, like people just want you for that certain weekend? It's like, what's going on this weekend?
My God,
like,
yes.
Like, what is that about? Seriously,
April
what's
the 5th is this
May
year.
31st. May 31st.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
like,
big
what's
one.
going on? Like, why? Like,
It is ridiculous because I got a booking for that date. And they wanted a sax, so I asked literally everyone. I must have emailed about, or texted, whatever, 20 saxophonists, and every single person was booked. Some people were double booked.
wow.
It wasn't Callan that time.
When you say double booked, you mean like they had one and then they had another rather than two at the same time?
No, two at the same time.
Because if I want to know how they could do that. If you know how to get yourself in two places at once, please let me know, because I could really deal with the money.
That's the trick I need to figure out.
Yes.
You're a musician, you tell us.
Yeah.
100%. You can tell us that.
But yeah, apart from that, I mean, it's been pretty positive. There was your party, which I did enjoy, but it was
so much.
quite scary because I was playing in front of other musicians, other sax players.
I know. Kudos, by the way.
Yeah.
Bloody well done.
We talk about
Impressive.
you know how that saying, don't we? What is it where you feel like you
Imposter syndrome.
That's the one, imposter syndrome, all the time. And my God, I felt it then when I was looking around, and everyone was so lovely and really positive, and I was thinking, and this is really bad that I think like this, but I'm like, do you mean it? Like, you're saying that I did a really good job, but do you really mean that?
No, but honestly, I was so proud of you, because that's such a hard thing to do. And like in that room, there must have been about 12 saxophonists.
Really? Because I can think of like two others. That's
Yeah, there were about maybe like, I'd say at least 10 saxophonists.
Oh my God.
Maybe
Yeah,
4 or 5 drummers.
Really?
I think there was only maybe 2 or 3 DJs. But for sax, 100%, it was like redoing your grade 8
Wow.
in
Yeah.
front of all these people.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. And I was like, so always on gigs, I'm always really carefully looking at every individual. How are you reacting to what I'm doing? But my brain was on hyper mode to the point where I actually had to close my eyes and shut them all out, because I was like, nope, this is too much.
Yep.
And I remember there was one point where I was actually sweating, where my fingers were doing something completely different than my mind was saying. And I was like, dude, you need to calm down and just crack on with your job, mate.
I'm so sorry. Well, that was one of the reasons why I asked Mike Cunningham to do percussion. Because I don't think you hung around for that. But Mike, do you know Mike Cunningham?
No.
So I adore this man. He's such a gem. But he does like the military style snare. And his hands and how he doesn't drop sticks baffles me, because it's all the flipping and he just suddenly goes whoa, and launch it in the air into the rafters of the building and then catch it perfectly. It just he is amazing. And one of the reasons why I thought I'd ask him to do it is because literally no one in the room could do what he did. He's just brilliant. Whereas whoever I asked to do sax, really, you're all very amazing in your own ways, but you all do play the same stuff. And I was like, oh, this is going to be such big pressure. So thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome.
You smashed it. You absolutely smashed it. If you go on my Instagram, Christix Drumming, shameless plug, you will see that everyone is like jumping through the ceiling. It was amazing. So thank you.
So I'm almost done
Sorry,
with my. No. You don't need to apologise. I've been going on a bit about how loving or loathing, what haven't I? But we've had some positive feedback about our podcast, which has been really good. Yeah, particularly at your party, everyone seemed to notice that we'd missed a week, and I was like, okay,
Really?
all right, I know. But people get really invested. But other people from the outside world have been messaging saying, "Oh, I listened to your podcast." I'm like, I don't even know who you are, but thanks.
Really?
So yeah, that's really good. So it is having some growth.
No
so,
pressure, Andy. You want a rocket that's going up into the sky now?
Well, I am until this point, which is again a bit of a loathe, really. You know how I've got a new mouthpiece, which if you've listened to the podcast 2 podcasts ago, I was going to buy it, and then I bought it in the last podcast, and now I have it. And then I finally figured out like what combination of reed goes on the mouthpiece. So basically, if you're not a sax player, you put a reed on a mouthpiece. The reed is made of wood normally, although I use plastic ones. It vibrates against the mouthpiece when you blow into it, and it makes a sound. But these can be, they can be quite flimsy. They can break quite easily. I bought a brand new one because it was fake. It cost fake wood. It cost quite a lot for it to work. It cost 30 quid. And I smashed it in the same gig that the first gig that I used it in. And that was basically just 30 quid down the drain.
Yeah.
At least that was your 30 quid and not your £500 or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could have been worse. Yeah, but I was like, oh, for God's sake. And then I used Amazon Prime to buy one to arrive the next day before your party.
Hey. God bless Amazon. Mention Amazon. See if they can sponsor you.
Yeah. We would love to hear whether you love or loathe your jobs at the moment. So if you do want to tell us, write in at wemakeithappenpodcast@gmail.com. That would be great. So how are we overall, though? I know we've spoken a little bit about how we are in terms of our jobs, but we feeling good?
Feeling good?
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Feeling
feeling good?
I mean, I kind of went over everything in the last bit. I just completely merged those 2 bits together.
Yeah. What have you been up to then, Andy, in terms of gigs that you've done recently?
Gigging. So obviously this last weekend, Mother's Day, besides Christie's party, Mother's Day, I was out all day. So I do a lot of sort of bars and restaurants, especially on like days like Mother's Day, because obviously you get families going there and things like that. So I will entertain everyone that go to the restaurant, waiting for the food, etc. So I was out from like 12 noon until like 7 at 2 different restaurants, and then I left the last restaurant and then flew over to Leeds. Flew over. Not literally.
Magic carpet.
Yeah, my magic carpet. But yeah, so I did that. I had a couple of weddings as well last weekend, I think. One Friday and one Saturday as well. So yeah, it was really, really busy weekend.
Great. Yeah, that does sound pretty chaotic, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
What's your average like radius when you work? Because obviously I met you because I was in Manchester at the time.
Yeah.
But I tend to get dragged all over, and I just didn't know about you. Like the other restaurants and stuff, are you normally in Manchester or?
Yeah, so the restaurants. So obviously I'm from Bolton, so I have about 6 restaurants that I like rotate and alternate. Like some of them I do every week, some of them I do every fortnight, and I'll just rotate them.
Fabulous.
Sort of thing. So yeah, it's usually like within like the Bolton, Manchester area where I'll do them. But if I get booked, like say for weddings, it can be anywhere. It could be, Manchester. It could be Clitheroe. It could be anywhere.
So how are your residencies when you suddenly get booked at a wedding and it's actually on one of the days that you're meant to be at a bar?
So
are they okay with it or?
Yeah, they are okay with it. Yeah. So, but 9 times out of 10, I will do the wedding in the afternoon time. So it'll be like the drinks reception or the wedding breakfast. So then I can still do the restaurant in the evening. That's how I try and plan it.
Okay, that works out quite well. So was mine quite a late one for you then?
It was, yeah.
Keeping you out of bed, I'm sorry.
No, it was good. It was good.
Okay, fabulous.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think about the gigs that I've done. I can't.
Do you have any weddings
honestly,
last weekend?
mind blank.
Your gig just basically took priority of the whole weekend, and I can't remember anything else. I did a few clubs on Saturday, and that were it. Yeah.
Oh, you're gigging on Saturday as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So you got back in at like 4 again.
Yeah, I did.
Honestly, this man's a bloody psycho.
Well, that might not be a good thing.
Where was your gigs if you were getting in at 4?
Leeds, Huddersfield.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I say Leeds, Huddersfield because I did 2 in Leeds and then 1 in Huddersfield. Yeah. Were you gigging on?
Yeah.
Saturday?
Did you have a gig on Saturday night?
If you were preparing for your
to
birthday.
be fair, I'm a bloody nutter as well because I got in at 4 a.m. with the clocks going forward.
Oh, that.
Yeah, they did.
That was a nightmare.
That was awful.
Yeah. I said to my partner, I'll be back at 3. And then I realised I was still at the club at 3, but I was like, "What? Hold on a minute! I've only just finished."
Yeah.
And then I realised, oh yes, the clock's gone forward. Yeah.
I know, that's when my hands were going. I know technically it didn't make a difference with it being 3 and 4 o'clock, but I was shattered. And then getting back in at like 4 a.m. and then I had to get up at 9 to go get my hair done, and then I had to go to the venue and set up and pick everyone up. So yeah, I did the entire party on like 5 hours sleep that night, and then 4 hours sleep the day before, and then 4 hours sleep the day before that. So I was honestly feeling it. I slept for 12 hours on Monday.
Wow. Yeah.
Which was impressive.
You've been doing loads with the warehouse though as well, where you work.
Absolute killer.
Because you've sold it.
I know. Oh, by the way, shout out to my parents. It went through Monday.
Amazing.
Oh, nice.
Hold on a minute.
Woo!
You don't need to do a real one. I've got one here.
To do a real one. Keep the authenticity. But yeah, so my parents have had a pet shop for about 40 years now. And they had 2 shops and a warehouse. The first smaller shop went about 5-6 years ago, and people were actually petitioning to try and keep it kept open. And then now we've got the bigger one, and all the pet shops around us are closing down because of national insurance and rent prices and water bills and all this kind of stuff. Whereas because my parents actually own the buildings, they've managed to keep going somehow.
Wow.
Throughout the pandemic and just throughout everything. But my dad's knees, he just can hardly walk anymore. So we've got to downsize. And we've told a couple of customers in the shop and they've just burst into tears. And it's like, because we've been there so long, it's like a landmark site. So that's what I've been doing. I've just been like moving all the heavy vivs and, like I say, all the haunted Santa ornaments. God knows where they'd come from. We've got like a plastic car that, kids, you put like money into and it moves. But it was included in a fire and it's all burnt and we've still got it. So that even looks more haunted, honestly. And then on my birthday, my mum was like, "Have you ever done this before on your birthday?" And I was like sweeping up mouse poo. It was like, no. Happy 29th to me.
So you were saying that you had a little bit of a mice issue, but it was like it only affected like a certain a little. What was it that you were saying?
Oh, it was just because where we are, and it's quite an old building. There's like a slight little hole we just can't get to because of all the scaffolding. So it's not actually affecting anything really, apart from like the bottom sacks. And we didn't realise until we cleared it all out, and we were like, "Oh my god, no!" And it was like, apparently my mum tried to open. She picked up this box, like, "What's in here?" And she opened it, thinking it'd be like CRAP, and there was
I
just.
think you could say that word. That's not a swear word.
Well, I don't know.
Crap.
So she just thought it'd be more of my dad's crap, really. Opened the box and then basically got like attacked by like a family of mice, and they were all jumping and she was like, "Ah!" And I had to like throw it. So it has not been glamorous in the slightest.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Rather you than me, girl.
Yeah.
I know. You should have been there. You could have made everything disappear as well.
Yeah.
These jokes are going to get so old. I'm so sorry.
Other than gigs, I'm just thinking what I've been doing. It was Mother's Day. I was at your party. It was my dad's birthday. A week before that, my dad's passed away. But what we do is we all, as a family, we all gather together just to kind of be together for his birthday. Which is actually he'll find quite hilarious, because obviously when I left home and my sister left home and it was his birthday, we sent him a card, but we never actually gathered round for his birthday, which is probably quite bad now that I think about it. I don't know if he really minded. Well, he pretended that he didn't mind anyway, but he'd probably think now like, oh, it's interesting that you're all gathering around, but you didn't do it when I was here.
Well, have you seen that advert though, where I think it says like the granddad's died and everyone goes through this full funeral, they all turned up in black and have this wake, and all of a sudden the granddad just miraculously appears and he's like, "It's the only time you'd all get together."
Oh gosh.
And I thought, actually, that's just like, and they all have this lovely meal for Christmas or something. And I was like, is that spreading the Christmas spirit?
Isn't that a bit of controlling, coercive behaviour? Because it's like I'm going to pretend that I'm dead so that you can all meet together.
The sentiment's quite nice, but then you think about the Christmas cheer and you go, actually, we shouldn't really be doing that.
That is a bit weird. So other than that, I can't really think what I've been doing. What have we got looking forward? What we looking forward to coming up, Andy?
This weekend coming, I think I've got a couple of weddings booked in. I've got a house party actually. I love house parties. House parties are great. A really small, intimate setting.
Yeah.
There's like maybe 10 people there, and like normally they'll like gather around like the dining table, like someone will sit down and stand around it. It'd be like a very small sort of, it's like a close-up magic show, you know.
You ever run out of tricks?
No.
You can't repeat it?
Never. Some people want me to keep repeating the trick. Like I was at a wedding once, I remember, and like this one trick, they just kept saying, "Let's do that one again. I want to do it again and again." And like I did it about 17 times in a row for them, you know. And it was just
the easiest wage I've ever made.
Yeah, it was just so funny. So
if you're in an intimate setting like that,
yeah,
and people are drinking, do people offer you alcohol as well?
Yeah.
Do you drink on the job, or are you like, no?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes it depends, really. You know.
Do you ever get sloppier?
No, I get better.
Oh,
It's
you're
weird.
one of those.
It's weird because like
Do you
like
think
if
you're actually better though, or is that your mind?
No, I know. It just takes the edge off. That's what it is,
Yeah.
I think. And like if I'm like, especially if it's like a nice hot sunny day and you're at a wedding and you're about to start a drinks reception, everyone's already had like a couple already, and then if I just get like, I have like one bottle of like Peroni or something like that. Oh, it just loosens you
I'm
up.
the exact same.
It just gets you going, and it's like
as soon as I get into a venue, Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, you just because everyone else is like having a good time, so you're like, yeah.
I'm the opposite. I
Do you not
don't
drink?
ever drink on the job.
Really?
And actually, at your party, Christy, I did have a pint of cider. Right before, just before I was going to play, and I had to just go, no, I can't have any more, because it does something weird with my ears. I just feel like I can't. Yeah, I feel like I can't hear things in the same way after I've consumed any amount of alcohol. Wow. So I just don't. So I just drink water as much as I can. Yeah.
I always have a glass of Pinot Grigio and then I like down like 2 pints of water before I leave because I'm just so dehydrated after jumping around.
Yeah, and also you've got. I am. This is what you're very good at, but this is always my concern about myself. Like I'll time it wrong, where I'm just about to get in the car, and then it might be like, oh, I've got to wait now because obviously I need to get home legally. Whereas you.
Sorry, where are you going with this?
Huh?
Where are you going with this?
What do you mean? No, I'm saying like you time it really well. So the reason I don't have alcohol is because I feel like I won't time it well and I'll get in my car probably when I've already had too much. Whereas you have it at the very start of your gig, so that when you get in your car, you're safe.
You sound like I'm just piling up shots at the bar.
No, I mean you only have one
Tequila
drink.
for you, tequila for me, tequila for you. Tequila.
You only
It's
have
fine.
one
I'm
drink.
driving in 2 hours and 58 minutes. Like, that's not what happens.
If you are, I can only describe this if you're listening to this. But as soon as you said, "What do you mean?" the sweat just dripped from my head. I was like, "Oh no, what have I said? Have I said something that's really bad? Have I offended her? Oh no, is this a bit that I'm going to have to edit out the podcast?"
What you also can't see is Callum profusely rubbing his forehead.
Yeah, I'm rubbing the sweat away.
To clarify, before my license gets taken away from me, I have one glass of wine and nurse it for the next 3 hours.
Sorry, we're going to
And
edit that
that's
bit
fine.
out.
You can keep it in. I like watching you sweat. It's fine. I do feel it helps loosen me up though, especially when you are interacting with the guests.
Yeah, it
Because
does.
they are all
It
just
does.
on a different level.
Yeah, yeah,
So it just kind of gives you a bit more loosey-goosey and a bit more tolerance for the pain in the asses.
yeah. Some of them, yeah,
Some of them, not all of them.
No.
It's odd for you.
yeah.
What have you got coming up that you're excited about, even if it's not gig related?
I got offered Mykonos today, which is exciting.
Who's that?
It's a place.
I'm joking. That sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to go ahead. We've had quite a few ones come in, which are going to be abroad, but also I just had one in France cancel on me, which is a shame.
Oh,
Yeah. But then also, this is odd. So in the whole virality of my post going at the moment, I've also been headhunted for 2 TV shows.
Oh yeah.
One of which Britain's
you
Got
say?
Talent,
Oh.
which I need to get you guys' opinions on.
yeah.
And the second one, I think it's called A Star Is Found in Hungary.
In Hungary. Wow, a star is
Whoa.
found. They
Wow.
really
It was
look,
found
don't they?
and flown overseas, probably at the cost of my own pocket. But I don't know. I'm not even sure. I don't even know if I should have said that or not. Basically, she's come to me and asked for this, but I think it's quite frowned upon sometimes in the entertainment community to kind of go on to Britain's Got Talent when we're all working musicians like this. Because I feel like some people think it's just trying to like grab at fame and it's a catapult to stardom. And also, especially with what me and you do, it might be different for you. But for what me and you do, I might blow them all away with my first performance, great. But then the next one, it's just the exact same thing to a different song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it would probably actually reflect quite badly on me to go on there and then maybe get voted out in the second one because Simon Cowell's gone, well, you did that last week.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. The whole point of us is to be interactive.
Of course,
and
yeah.
create an atmosphere, not necessarily to show off skill. You can do. But what are you, look at his face. What are you thinking?
I think quite a lot actually. But no, let's go to Andy first. What are you thinking?
About Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Or any sort of talent show. I think it's different for magicians.
It's definitely different from magicians because obviously I could go on and I could do, one routine and then I could do something completely different.
Yeah.
Like I could do cards, for example, like
Yeah.
a whole card routine, get each judge to pick a different card, find them in some magical way. And then if I go through, then I could do something completely different.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying though, definitely.
Would you
know.
ever go on Britain's Got Talent? Or anything like that?
I would. I did apply years ago and I did have an audition.
Really?
But it was on a Sunday. It was in Manchester and it was on a Sunday. It was at 1 p.m. and I thought, oh, okay, 1 p.m. And I had a gig that evening at about 6. So I thought, I can go do the audition and then go to my gig. It'll tie in nicely that. And I was still queuing up at 5:30.
Oh, God.
And they assured me on the email that your audition is at 1 p.m. So I arrived an hour early or whatever as well. So yeah, 5:30. I'm still outside of the hotel wherever it was. I think it was Manchester Central actually.
Right.
And yeah, just queue not moving.
So you just walked away?
So yeah, literally I had to leave and I was like half an hour late for my gig anyway as well because I was like waiting around and I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. So I just never bothered again.
That's ridiculous.
wow.
You do see, like, I remember when you used to watch The X Factor and you saw all the massive queues of people.
Yeah, that's what it's like,
snaking,
yeah.
Like thousands of
Yeah.
people. And you
And
think,
I kind of found that, like, obviously I know it's a TV show, for one, and there were just lots of TV cameras out there, and every so often they just get us all to, like, cheer and scream, just so they could film that little, like, 2-3 seconds clip, what you see on Britain's Got Talent, and it was like, oh yeah, you know, and that's it, and they just kept doing that, but the line just wasn't moving.
it looks so exciting, but everyone's actually slowly down.
It doesn't, and we were just like, what's, you know. So yeah, never saw Simon Cowell or anything like that, never saw the judges.
Should have just miraculously appeared.
I should have. Yeah, next time.
Think of that next time.
Yeah. But I would give it another go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just make sure that, like, this time.
You have the day free.
I have the day free, yeah. So.
To be honest, I think you'd actually do really well on there, because like I say, you are a bloody brilliant musician.
Thank you.
Magician.
I'm of two minds, I think. I'm a yes, but I'm a no. I think what I realise is that I personally wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't discourage anyone else from doing it. So, because I feel like, what have you got, apart from your time lining up, what have you got to lose?
Yeah.
You know, I know that it is very, like, it's a bit staged.
Yep.
It can be
I've
staged.
heard that, yeah.
And especially when they do separate shots of, like, you know, excited judges' faces that actually aren't even in, you know, their reaction from, you know, someone who's doing a performance or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I then think is, but if you get to the stage where you are in front of the judges, because I think there's stages beforehand, but if you get to that stage where you're in front of the judges and you're on the telly, then very quickly, even if you don't get to the finale, very quickly you can have your tagline on social media as seen on Britain's Got Talent, and then you can increase your fee by a couple £100.
I know, but wouldn't you just think as seen on and didn't get through with on Britain's Got Talent?
No, because at the end of the day, there's only like one winner, and there's as we just said, there's literally a line so long full of people. I don't feel like Britain's Got Talent means that only the winner is talented and no one else is good enough.
No.
I think it's supposed to be no matter who is on stage, they have some sort of talent. If they don't get an X, you're not going to get an X.
For example, if you went through and you blew them away on the first one playing Jubel.
I like your pun there. That was really good.
You blew them away on the first one.
As a saxophone player, yeah.
Save me. And then the next time you went through, what would you play next? Insomnia?
If I can't get any sleep. Sorry, I really... I don't know. I've thought
if I went
about
on
it,
and played Free from Desire, and the next one I came on and played Levels, it would just be more the same. And like, unless you are playing unless you are a drummer who's maybe playing some sort of noted piece, whereas mine's just improv.
I mean, there are probably songs that have, like, really known percussion lines.
Safri Duo played Alive. What next?
Well, I don't know, but what I'm thinking is, like, you'd probably play those tunes that are like, you know, that one that's like ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba 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 bum. Nope.
Safri Duo played Alive.
Oh, is that one?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
It took me a while, I'm sorry. I don't know how on your incredible rendition.
I know, that was great. Other than that, I don't know what you do, but that's not for me to figure out. That's for you.
I might just email them back and be like, I can't do that, but if Simon Cowell wants an after party.
So who contacted you from Britain's Got Talent?
It was a scout.
I had a girl ring me up a couple of years ago. Yeah, she was like, I've seen this like trick that you've done on your Instagram, and I was like, oh, here we go, you know. And years ago it snowed, and so I did this trick where I like made a snowball and then I made it like levitate and float.
Insane.
And it's on my Instagram. Yeah, go check it out.
I'll go check it out.
How can we check it out? Sorry, what's your Instagram handle?
@Rockstar Magic.
Thank you.
Such a cool name.
and then she was like, yeah, I've seen this. You like float a snowball, and I went, oh yeah. And she said, is there any way that you could do that on stage at Britain's Got Talent? And I was like, with snow. And she was like, yeah. And I was like,
that is real magic.
Are you all right? You know what I mean? I'm like, I know I'm a magician, but geez, girl, you know.
No, but you can create ice balls.
Yeah, I can. From Fire.
which I never saw.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've never seen it. Because Sexy Bexy came running over to me going, look at this!
Yeah.
Saxy Bexy is another sax player.
One of the many who was at my party.
Yeah, if you're, I mean, I know that this podcast is really for people in the entertainment industry, but if you aren't in the entertainment industry and you're suddenly trying to do some sort of event, you're getting all the names to research.
Oh, we are name dropping.
We are so.
We should take commission per name. We're actually charging you £50 to be here.
We are going to move on shortly to All About You. I will just say there is one thing that I'm looking forward to. Two things, actually. I've just seen my notes. One is I'm seeing a gig next week, Kamasi Washington, which is a sax player in Leeds. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then...
Oh, I'm seeing Shonda Paul.
Shonda Paul. Nice. When?
Sunday?
Oh, this Sunday.
No, 13th, I think.
What was that?
Leeds First Direct, yeah.
Oh, all right.
I know. It wasn't really my choice, but my friend really likes it, so I was like, yeah, let's just go.
Nice.
So,
Let us know about that.
We're raving to Shonda Paul.
Yeah. And we might be, we're not sure yet, but we might be taking the podcast abroad. Yeah. We'll see how that goes, but we have a guest, which I won't say too much about yet, that is currently abroad doing an 8-month stint. And I thought, I wonder if we could just go out there and do our podcast. So watch this space. It might happen.
Start dieting like
but
ASAP.
It might not. Dieting? Why? Ryanair. the reason I mentioned that, I don't know why you go with dieting.
The worst airline.
But the reason I mentioned that is because if we were going, it would be Ryanair. And I was thinking, would we get a cheaper ticket if we were? Yeah. If I lost a stone, would I have to be half price? Yeah. No, there was this thing where he was saying that he was like wanted to weigh individual people. I'm sure I've seen this on like YouTube or something. Yeah,
it's true.
And like if they were a particular weight, he'd charge them more because the plane was heavier.
Nice bit of fat shaming. One thing I have never understood though is when they, give you your suitcase and your suitcase is overweight and they go, oh, okay, hang on. Let me just take out 5 shirts and 2 jackets and put them all on my body. The same weight as going on the plane.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's mad. I was in the Maldives doing a gig about maybe 3 years ago. And we had to like island hop. So we went on this like really tiny little plane like with propellers. And people were weighing themselves. They had to get on and they were holding chickens. Like they were taking these chickens on the plane. But anything that they had to get on the scale holding a chicken and then get off it again. And they had to make sure because otherwise the plane could physically not take off if the weight wasn't right. If there was a fat person.
Sorry,
and
the
they tipped
chickens
it over.
were coming.
Chickens were on the plane.
Oh, no way. So it did, like, if those chickens had eggs and they hadn't laid them yet, then I guess they'd...
Just give them a quick squeeze and the plane would be lighter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the wildest thing I've ever seen. That actually does happen. It was so embarrassing. You get on and you just felt like everyone was going, oh, she's put on a bit.
What's worse is, though, is probably on the way back. Because you might be fine on the way there.
Put
but
on
if
3 stone on the way
if
back
you've gone
from
to a
the
load of, like, little fast food places,
little fast food place. Darling, it was a 5-star resort, I'll have you know.
Well, I don't know. I've never been. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
All About Andy. Okay.
Sounds like a childhood's book.
I know, yeah.
All about Andy.
So I do want to know, like, how did you become a magician in the first place? What got you started? Who inspired you?
Okay.
Here we go.
Do you want the serious answer,
in,
or do you want the serious answer, or do you want the fun answer that I always give people?
Well,
so I do both.
Yeah, fun
go
and serious.
Fun answer first. So when people say, like, how did you become a magician? I always go, right, I was about 12, right, and I got this letter through the post from this owl, and it said I had to go to a school called Hogwarts. And some people laugh, and some people just look at me as if like I've got 2 heads. They just
oh
go,
my God, that's amazing.
They go, so is magic real then? They actually do. I'm not even joking.
Oh, I want to be their friend.
Yeah. Oh, so funny. No. So serious answer.
There was no owl, just a giant bust your door down.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a wizard, Andy.
So I just got bit by the bug. I think when I probably said I was about 12 or something like that. I was watching magicians on TV, and I was just always interested in it. My granddad was a magician as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was.
Cute.
So, but like he died when I was 7, so
That's
I don't
cute.
really
Sorry.
remember much magic that he did. I remember little bits, like the typical like make a coin disappear and make it appear from behind your ear. But my mum tells me like, things he did and everything like that all the time. But then I didn't actually get into it until I'd say I was about 12. But I was like bit by the bug, and
But how did you get into it? Like was there? I know obviously you just said that your granddad was a magician, but is that how you got into it from seeing that, or was there something else that you saw? That
so it was basically I got a magic kit under the Christmas tree. I think we all get that at some point, and then we all take to it like probably just for like the day, and then we just like put it away and never bother with it again. But I just constantly kept like looking at it and wanting to learn this stuff. And as I said, I'd at the time like David Blaine was sort of really relevant on TV on Channel 4, I think it was, and he was doing his like street magic like programs where he was like stopping people in New York, and the typical American reactions was like, oh my God, sort of thing like we see. And I'd watch it over and over again. I just got hooked. I was just like, I was just wanting to know how we were doing these like incredible things. Just a pack of playing cards. So like, I researched it, get on Google and start looking for magic tricks and things like that. And that was it. It just snowballed from there, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that? Was it called the Magic's Darkest Secret or something?
The guy with the mask,
yeah,
the breaking the magician's code. It was called,
know. I used to
the
watch
masked
that,
magician.
sorry.
Yeah, again, that was around the same time. Yeah, and I used to watch that and stuff. That was more like sort of like big stage illusions that he used to reveal, but it was still really interesting because it was like, oh my God, he's revealing magic sort of thing, and yeah.
So when you were young and you were just getting into it, were you like, right, I'm going to be a magician one day, or did it just kind of happen?
Yeah, it kind of. I did think that not when I was about 12 or 13. I just did it because I thought it was like, cool and everything. But yeah, I didn't actually start thinking I was going to be a magician until I was maybe around 21-ish, something like that, 2021, when I did my first gig at an old people's home, actually. Yeah, it was.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. Yeah, I got paid £30 for, 30 quid for like an hour or something like that. I think it was to go around the old people's home, and yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
And that was it.
Like, is it now your only job?
Yeah, this is all I do.
How long did it take you to get to that point?
This is all I've been doing for about 10 or 12 years now.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is all I've done.
That's awesome.
So you're 32, so...
Yeah.
Not long after your old people's home, you were going solo.
The old people's home was,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
But yeah.
Yeah. So do you feel like it's increasing now constantly, the amount of people that want magic at their events?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think's led to that?
I think TV magic definitely. Like Dynamo in the UK, like he's kind of like our David Blaine in a way. He's got on TV. Fair play to the boy. He's done well. But yeah, I think ever since like definitely he came on the scene, we have had definitely an increase in magic at events and things like that. Weddings are really popular to have magicians in the UK. Apparently in America it's not, because there's a guy in America that I've spoken to like briefly, and like he says that it's just not a thing in America to have a magician at a wedding. They're like, it's not.
But I wonder though, with this country, whether the whole entertainment, because I mean, I don't know about America, whether the whole entertainment like sector getting really heavily involved in weddings is a British thing.
Yeah,
I think
that as well. I think it must be.
Are American weddings a bit more boring?
I don't know. I don't know.
I have been to a few American weddings because I used to live in America.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. I lived there for 9 years.
Have you performed at American weddings as a
No, I've never
player?
performed at an American wedding, but as a child, I went to American weddings. Now, obviously, so where I lived, it was Georgia, and religion was a really much heavier part of marriage than it is in this country on the whole, I think. So I think there was a lot less chance of like, a sax player suddenly showing up up or whatever.
Okay.
So I wonder if it is to do with religion as to why it might strip out that element, or whether it's just not a thing in America to have that much entertainment. If you're listening and you are American, please let us know, because we are naive and British. So we've got.
We just drink tea all day. We don't
Yeah,
really know what else is happening. Have we all done the tea alarm? Did we all catch the tea alarm today?
I still don't really know what that is. I've
Don't ruin it, Callum. The
what?
tea alarm.
Oh yeah, I've done the tea alarm. Don't ruin it. I don't know what I'm ruining. I
The
don't
tea
know what
alarm,
it is.
you must have been fined by now. If you don't know what it is, you must have been fined. It's like at 3 o'clock on the dot, an alarm goes off and you've got to drink tea.
No, I have no idea what that is.
I have no idea.
Oh, for God's sakes, both of you.
No.
It's this online thing that's going around.
What if you only drink coffee?
Yeah, so
you,
it's
you get fined. You get basically
You get
on
fined.
TikTok. These Brits have
We're
started
too
doing
old for
this.
this.
I'm catching you up. On TikTok, these Brits have been doing this thing where they've been faking this tea alarm, and like the siren goes off, and you've all got to stop and quickly have some tea. As like, I think it's a way to keep the tea alive and to pay, something back to our heritage and all this. But the Brits are being so good at it. All the Americans are actually believing it, and they were going, "Oh my God, it's a tea alarm."
Oh, do you know what? I have seen a video where there's an old man where, as an alarm goes off, and he's like, "Oh, I've got to drink tea," and I guess that's what
Literally,
it must be.
That's what it is. But if you look, like, there's so many Americans going, "Wait, is this actually real?" And then you go into the comments, and every single British person is going, "Yeah, my auntie is actually in prison for 3 years, not for missing the tea alarm, but for not paying the fines, and that's mounted up."
But we
People are
love
going,
winding Americans up,
oh,
don't
it's
we?
brilliant. It's so
We're
brilliant.
really bad for it.
So if you are American and you are listening, both these guys are going to get fines now. I've actually been a religious tea drinker since the age of 3 when it has to start.
We've gone off on a bit of a tangent.
Sorry.
We've gone off from a huge increase in magicians to the tea alarm.
So having tea at 3 p.m.
Sorry, so American weddings are boring then, is that what we were?
Well, I want to know, speaking of what an event looks like in America, what does your typical event look like here?
As in, like, when I arrive and
basically, yeah. Is it like, do you normally do weddings? Do you normally do clubs? Like, do you normally do the afternoon, the evening?
So, yeah, a wedding, for example. I do lots and lots of weddings. So, say I tend to get booked for the drinks reception is probably, like, the most popular time, the option that everyone would go for. So, after the ceremony, the bride and groom go off having the photograph taken for a while, and all the guests are just stood waiting around. Usually in like the bar area or outside if it's nice on the like patio bit. And that's the best time to have a magician, in my opinion, because it's at the start of the wedding. It's a great icebreaker, gets everyone talking, creates an amazing atmosphere. And I can wander around in between these little groups of people. I say it's all close-up magic. So it just works really, really well.
Yeah.
And I say you're having your photographs taken then. So the photographers always get jaw-dropping shots of people like that. Again, there are some on my like Instagram page at Rockstar Magic.
Rockstar Magic.
If you look at that, you'll see like really funny jaw-dropping shots and everything. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, usually do that for a couple of hours and then disappear, literally.
But it is a really good way to get everyone. It is a really good way to get everyone mingling, isn't it? Because if you have got people on their own or couples, or whatever, you can be like, everyone gather around, children.
Yeah. It creates a talkative point, and like I always tell, like the bride and groom that are booking me, that not everyone will know each other at that wedding. There's like a group on your side, the brides, and there's group on like the groom side. They won't know each other, but if they stood next to each other and they see me doing that, they're always looking over, and I'll say, "Come in, guys, come and watch this," and then I'll spend about 5-10 minutes with that group, and then I'll leave and I'll move on to the next one, and it creates a talkative point for everyone to get to know each other. So that when I leave that group, it'll be, "Well, how did he do that? Well, I don't know. I think he did it this way. Who are you, by the way? How do you know the bride? Oh, I'm such and such a body, and that's it." And years ago that happened, and there was a girl on the bride side and a guy on the groom side. Never met each other before, and I brought these two groups into it.
Did they fall in love?
They did.
Oh, that is
they did,
sweet.
and they got married. And
did you do their wedding?
I did their wedding.
That is so cute.
Sweet. That is great. That's
exactly.
a great little story.
Never met each other before, but they met each other. It was
Can
like,
you do that for me, please?
I was
Can
like,
you materialise a man? It's not an arse. That'd be great.
Oh, that is beautiful.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think it was like 3 years later, it was like, "Oh, yeah, hi Andy. Yeah, you might not remember us, but I remembered them. Yeah, and yeah, they booked me.
Oh, Oh, that's so
wedding.
cute. Can you imagine if you were booked at someone else's wedding?
I know, innit? Yeah.
That's like that's a highlight of your job, obviously.
Yeah,
Literally, that goes on the CV.
I mean, if I hadn't have done that, they might not have talked that day. They might have just sort of like, you know, checked each other out and been like, but I'm too scared to talk to you or whatever. It might never have happened.
Like a sliding doors butterfly effect moment.
Might never have happened.
Oh,
so,
magic is real.
Yeah.
So if that's a highlight, what's your challenging aspects of your job?
Just trying to like break down them barriers sometimes. It's usually guys, you know, they always like, you know, they hear the word magic or magician and like they'll fold their arms and they'll put like a barrier up and wall up and
They're just
stuff.
muggles, don't worry.
I know.
I know. Yeah.
I know that. I will interrupt. Sorry, but
Go on.
When I'm playing my saxophone and there's like a woman and a man sat together, and I can tell obviously they're together, but for some reason the man has to feel like he's got to play bouncer, and he's like sat there with his arms folded. I think you tried to serenade my missus, and
it's
I'm like,
insecurity
no.
pops up. And they just get insecure, and I've had it before. Like, you know, oh, are you hitting on my woman? You know, and so it's like, no, I'm just doing a magic trick. You know?
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I'm more talented than you are.
magic is them
I
falling
think
in
that's
love
what
with
it
me.
is. Like, not in a nasty way, but to try and be nice as possible. It's like, yeah, like I can do something that you can't. And,
Oh, no, 100%.
And you're scratching your head over it, and you have no idea how it's done. And you know, but there's no need to feel that way.
No.
You know, there's not. Just sit there and enjoy
It's a very
it.
toxic masculine thing.
Yeah, it is. It
How
is. And
do
it's
you
like,
then get the man like over that barrier?
I'll try to get him on my side. I'll try to include him in it, or I may try and sort of like get him to look like that he's done something magical.
Oh,
that's
great.
so smooth.
To get him on my side, so then, because a lot of the time, you know, lads, they'll try and like mess it up on purpose, you know, again, because their insecurities come round. But it's just try to break down that barrier of, you know, get him on your side, be friendly with him, get him to do the magical thing that's already been done, you know, without giving anything away. But, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
I do completely get that, because sometimes, like, I think anybody who's in the entertainment industry, you are idolized by the people who you're performing for.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time it's probably to do with alcohol and they're all having a great day, and then
Yep.
all of a sudden you are providing something that no one else can do, and
Yeah.
it's like a sense of awe.
Yeah.
So in a similar aspect, if a guy comes up to me with a partner, he's complimenting me, I'm always like looking at the girl, like reassuring it's completely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like chances are they're not doing anything. Like, you know, they're just being fine.
Yeah.
But in the same way that you're talking about, the girl can't do what I did.
No.
So I'm always reassuring her and shaking her hand first. And it's
Yeah.
lovely to meet you and just try and make everyone feel included, because I think that can be a bit of a sore point sometimes.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I kind of look specific when I see, you know, the man with a grumpy face.
Yeah.
I basically look specifically at him and make him the center of attention in
Yeah.
a positive way,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
in
yeah,
a,
yeah,
not in a negative way. For a few, you know, seconds before, you know, and
It's true.
in a way, I'm kind of like, right, and this might sound bad, but in a way, I'm like, right, I'm going to kind of just ignore any response from the female in this for now, just so I could feel that I can make the man feel like he is, you know, really happy in this moment, which is really bad that I have to do that.
It's just like a nod of respect,
Yeah,
I
it
think.
is.
Because it can be seen as flirting. Like if I'm jumping and clapping and there's a guy clapping, I'm doing this to him all the time, woo, and he's cheering back to me, and the girlfriend sat there with her face like a slapped arse.
Yeah.
Like you need to like show a sign of respect that actually I'm not coming in here to take your person.
No.
You know,
No.
I'm here to engage with everybody.
I'm here to do a job.
I'm here to do a job.
Yeah.
So when the magic ends, what do you do during the day? Are you always just reappearing out of nowhere, or are you got other hobbies?
I usually just chill out in the week, sort of thing, you know.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
I go to the gym, you know, a few times a week. I like going for walks. Just like going for walks.
And you're lifting 1 million pound kilos of weight, and they're like, "Whoa, why are you doing that, mate?" And you're like, "Magic."
Magic. Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah.
I know too many puns. That's bad.
Yeah.
Showing off my inner nerd here. I'm so sorry.
Okay, let's move on. We've got a new topic that we're going to see how it goes. We might do it every week. We might just do it sporadically. But we're going to have a bit of an argument about a particular topic. We're only having this argument because I know kind of someone is thinking the opposite of me. Well, at least I hope so, because otherwise this argument's going to fall flat.
I did not realise that this was actually a thing. Okay, let's go. Ding, 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 ding.
And basically, this topic is contracts. are we for or are we against them? We'll start with you, Christy.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Andy then. You threw me off.
I know.
I'm for them. I think I'm for them. I think they're there to make people safe. They're there to make sure you have everything that you need. Hopefully you shouldn't get mistreated. And if you do, you have the ability to leave and there shouldn't be any fallbacks on that. You should get paid on time. I think it is... Are we talking about contracts with agencies or contracts between you and the client?
It could be any. I'm just saying contracts in general, just to see, and you could say maybe you're for one particular side and against another particular side.
I think as long as the contract is done well, I'm completely for them.
Okay.
100%. Although the problem is if someone hasn't read it and then you're having to like chase them up for payment terms, or for example in mine I need a green room to make sure that I have someone to get changed and someone to get ready that is safe, and that's all come on from a whole thing. I was in a disabled toilet. Someone unlocked the door and saw me in all of my glory. And they were just some drunken lads, and it was like five of them. And I thought, oh my God, I cannot be doing with this again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, fortunately, nothing happened, but it could have happened, you know.
Yeah.
That is a good reason for a contract.
So now I always put in my contract. So stuff like that is...
Might be changing my answer.
So that goes in my contract. Food, if I'm there for longer than 2 hours, in my contract. A deposit is not refundable unless I can't make it, in the contract. You know, so like all these kind of stuff, if something does pop up, or even one of my friends has the most ridiculous experience, they tell me about it, I'm like, oh, pop that in.
Right.
So it just covers all bases then to make sure that hopefully I shouldn't be caught out with anything.
Yeah. We had a little conversation before, didn't we?
We did have a little conversation.
But some things
before.
that she said, I do agree
I
on.
do as well.
I do, but then some things it's kind of like...
As you can tell, Andy and I are probably swaying more to the against than the for,
so
but
intrigued.
you may have changed our minds.
Yeah.
Okay, what are your points?
Do you want to start, Andy?
Yeah, I just think that there should be some, like, you know, obviously an element of trust there as well. You know, they have booked you, but I mean, like,
An element of trust in what way?
like obviously, you know, they will pay on time, you know, sort of thing. You know,
Yeah, but they just don't sometimes.
I've never really had that. I've never had. Have you had issues like that?
Sorry to interrupt that question.
Yeah.
Have you had issues like that? But do you not have issues with that because you asked for the money before the gig?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I do.
Do you get payment before the gig?
I take £100 deposit to secure it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's non-refundable, like you
Yep.
say,
Yeah,
unless I
absolutely.
cancel for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get the remaining payment 1 week before,
Yeah.
if it's a private booking.
Right. Okay.
But so for me, like I don't use contracts for a couple of reasons, which I'll go into. But with the payment thing, I'm like, well, if you don't pay me the full amount, I won't show up.
Yeah.
So don't really have a need for a
I
contract.
I know, but then also maybe I'm a bit too soft. I don't want to do that on someone's wedding day. And like sometimes because they have got so much going on, and they've booked us 8 months prior, like they might have just slipped their mind, because I'm not somebody who normally sends reminders. So sometimes they'll message me, and sometimes if it gets to like 3 days before and they haven't paid me, then I'll send them a nudge. But there's been times where their inbox has been so busy, or something's gone wrong, or their granddad's died, or something's happened, and I messaged this woman and I was like, I can't message you on the day of a wedding, but I've got to. Like in the morning, I was like, I can't turn up unless you pay me. It's in my terms and conditions. And something had gone wrong for her, and I just took a leap of faith and trusted her on it. And I went to do the gig, and she was so grateful. She paid me the next day with an extra 50 quid.
Right.
Which was nice. But like I've never really not had that problem, because the thing of me not turning up, hopefully is too scary for them not to pay.
But I do the same thing though. I actually, I don't know about you, Andy, but I have to remind them quite often. Okay, you know how I said no less than 7 days before. Yeah. It's now 6 days before. Can you pay?
So why don't you have a contract? Because you must have some sort of contract with you saying, here is the deposit, and then this is when you pay.
Oh yeah. It's like more like a receipt in a way, I guess.
More like a written text.
Yeah.
So you guys don't have any T's and C's or anything?
No. So for me, I just say, like, this is my full price. This is the amount. I don't use the word deposit, which I'm gonna go into in a second, which you know about. Do I? Yes, you do, because this involves you. But I don't use the word deposit. I say first payment, and I say the first payment is due to secure the booking, and then I say the remainder of that balance is due no less than 7 days before.
Right.
Often they forget.
That's a slight T and C.
Yeah, but I can't use that in like law as a contract, because it's just a written text.
No, but what I do is on mine, I'll say the deposit secures the booking, and then the remaining balance must be paid 7 days before the event. By paying the deposit, you agree to these payment terms and the following T's and C's. So they don't actually have to sign anything, but the fact that they've got it, seen the amount and paid it is accepting of the contract, pretty much.
Do you think, Andy, from what Christy's saying, you'll change your mind and start doing contracts?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
I tell you, one of the biggest reasons I don't do, and I probably will still not do, contracts, can't be bothered with the additional admin.
It is a little bit, yeah. It's like...
I mean, do you not have like a file with all your invoices in that you send to the accountant or something?
A file with my invoices. I've had to laugh away from the mic there because I knew that laughter would be too much. Yeah. So if you are watching, and we're going to keep rolling because Christy and I are going to just talk amongst ourselves.
The magician's going to disappear for a second.
Andy needs a wee. Pretty much. Yeah. It's all unlocked, mate. He's walking out the door. He's gone. To be honest, he's taking his keys. He's decided he's driven away. He's thinking about contracts.
So do you not have like a folder or anything with all of your bookings in them?
No. So if you have a folder with them, do you print them all out or something?
Well, I print them out and I also have them on my laptop.
No, you do way more admin than me. So what I do in terms of invoices, I only invoice companies or whatever. I don't invoice the client. I just say, pay me now. Really, there's no invoice there. And my accountant has never said that I needed one.
But how does your accountant know who the money's come from?
Because it's all on my bank statement. So it just says on my bank statement that this amount has come from whoever. And that's obviously a client.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, no, fair play. Well, what I do with mine is I have them all printed out on my laptop and printed out in my folder, and I keep them on my laptop as well because then I just go on and say I had the last invoice that I sent off to Amy Smith. I'm making that name up. I'll then go on, either save as or duplicate, depending on whether you're using Microsoft or Apple, and just change the name, change the thing, and all my terms and conditions are already pre-attached. And then I just convert it to a PDF and send it off. But then in that way, I can then print out my own little first part of the invoice so I can keep track on when they've paid and what's happened and everything. Welcome back.
Woo! Andy's back! Yay! Woo!
You can't hear it, there's an applause coming through.
Much better.
Fantastic.
Would you like the mic back? Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Christy was just saying that she's got a printed folder of all her invoices. And I've just suddenly realised why you're so much better at all of this than I am. And it's because you come from a business already. You come from a mindset.
No, this is more organised than the than the really, really good pet shop.
Oh, right. Okay.
We don't have time to do the pet shop stuff. We used to have a bookkeeper, but they ripped us off. So we try.
There's a story in that.
That'll take up a whole other episode. So we try and do it all ourselves, but on top of everything else, we don't have the time. So it's just papers everywhere. But for example, just showing you guys, I'm not sure that you can see
we
this.
will have to describe
I will explain this. So this is my invoice, for example.
So Christy is showing an invoice that is very detailed with her logo on it.
With my logo on it.
Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
You can hold it up to a camera if you want.
Yeah, I know, but it's got a name on and a fee on, so I'm not
you can't do that.
I'm not bothered about you guys seeing it. So this is a charity due, so it's a little bit less because I'm a good Samaritan and I charge less for charity dues.
Oh.
So it's got my invoice number on there. So when they pay, they've got to give me the invoice number that they pay with, and then I know exactly where that goes to because otherwise I just get something random from, in this case, S. Brennan. And I wouldn't necessarily know who that is because sometimes the husband can pay when the wife have been talking to the wife and it's all confusing. Exactly what there is, my sort code, account number, how much is due, and then I go into all my T's and C's. So I've got 2 pages of T's and C's. And it just says, by paying the deposit, you therefore agree to these payment terms and the following terms and conditions.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
I don't do that. I
sent you an invoice. I sent you an invoice. Just copy it.
I did notice. Well, no, I do have
You'll
the
have
means.
To send them T's and C's over, Christian. I'll just delete your name and then put Rockstar Magic.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I actually took some of these from Girls That Mix, one of their artist contracts.
Oh yeah.
So she helped me out a little bit, and then other ones are just stuff that I've experienced, which is just stupid. So like one of them is like quotes are normally provided on the expectation of a 15 to 45 minute interval between sets. Any longer interval will be charged at £50 per hour.
Wow.
Because sometimes they'll be like, oh, can you do 3 sets? And I'll go, yeah, book you in for 3 sets. And they go, okay, great. So I want one at 5 o'clock, one at 9, and then one at midnight. And I'm like, no. But you don't clarify that. And it's all these little things that you think it's such common knowledge, but they just don't twig. And then they've kind of got you bent over a barrel at the end of it because you're saying, well, I've paid you for 3.5 hours. You didn't say when.
Yeah, you didn't say which 3.5
Yeah.
hours. Yeah.
So
it's little things like that.
Yeah, it's all for me. I mean, I've never really had an issue except once, which I'm going to go into. So I just say through text, it's within a 2-hour time frame or 3-hour time frame. Well, it's always 2 hours, to be honest. Or maybe a solid hour, and then this is what I'm going to do in that hour. This is what I'm going to do in that 2 hours. So you know how much I'm going to be playing. And I've actually never had an issue with that. But once I had a very big issue, and it did make me go, I think I should start doing contracts. I didn't. But this issue was me using the word deposit. So I don't know if you've ever bought a car, those that are listening, you might be driving in your car that you bought, but sometimes the dealer will take a deposit. And often at the dealer, I've always said, is that deposit refundable? And they've always said yes. And the reason why is because legally it is refundable. Every deposit is refundable until you have fulfilled that duty. So what happened to me, this was a gig, Christy, that you booked me on from a client. It wasn't, you weren't the booker, but there was a client that was interested in both of us. And they'd messaged me. I did the very typical thing of spending a little bit too long to reply to them. It was about a week I spent.
Oh my God, I remember this. Oh, it was horrific, Andy.
I spent about a week before I replied to them. And yeah, okay, I could have replied sooner.
Why?
It was not a week, Callum Sweet.
It was a week.
Are you sure it was a week?
It was a week that I spent that I hadn't replied to them. I'm confident it was a week.
Why so long?
Much longer than that.
Why so long?
That I hadn't replied to them.
Yeah.
Just been...
just busy with life.
Just busy with life. And I don't think I actually even saw the message.
It was a few months.
No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't
sure?
a few months. I'm sure that it wasn't a few months. I'm pretty confident it wasn't a few months.
We'll agree to disagree.
Anyway, so regardless, what happened, the repercussions were terrible. So there I was one night on my way to a gig, and I thought... thankfully, I had enough fuel in my car. I thought, I'm going to stop at this garage. I'm going to grab myself a coffee.
Yeah.
And I did just that. And then it said card declined. And I was like, oh, why's my card declined? I know I've got enough money in the bank for a coffee. And it just wasn't working. I was like, well, I've got my holiday bank account. I'll use that for the time being so I can just grab this coffee and figure out what's going on later. I ended up still not figuring out until the day after when I called my bank and they said that my card has been blocked for fraudulent activity. And I was like, oh, what's somebody been trying to hack money out of my account? And they were like, no, because we think that you might be the fraudulent activity. And I was like, pardon? And basically what had happened is this person who I hadn't responded to their email or their Instagram message about had decided that I was a scammer. And they had gone to their bank and requested a refund back from their bank for the deposit because I'd said the word deposit. And then it shut my bank account for basically like a week, and I was unable to just use my card like I would normally use it because of this issue. And I contacted them. They were on holiday at the time when I contacted them, and I was able to reach them. And they were like, no, I just thought you were a scammer because you just didn't contact me back. And I was like, well, no, I'm not. But did you know that it was going to cancel my bank account, or close it for a bit? And they were like, no, I'm sorry about that. I had no idea. I'm sorry that you've had those repercussions, but, I just thought you were a scammer. And, legally, you said the word deposit. You haven't fulfilled that action yet. I can get that money back. And they were totally right. They could.
Oh, wow.
And that's the problem with using the word deposit. Yeah. And that's why I now only use first payment because that way they can't get that money back in the same way. So if you're listening and you use the word deposit, stop. Don't.
I know, we'll have to do that.
Don't use the word deposit.
First payment.
Yeah,
from now on.
You can use other words other than first payment, but basically, yeah, it's just a clarification that it's not a deposit and that you're paying towards you fulfilling that action that you're going to do, but they're not entitled to that money back. But if you're saying that, if you're using the word deposit, no matter what, they can get that money back unless you've completed the date. Yeah.
I need to change that then.
So you learn something new every day.
You do learn something new every day. I'm trying to see if there's any other good little ones that people wouldn't think of, but actually people are being caught out with.
I'm not sure, but we can probably save those for another time. If people have been caught out by this, like I have, let us know, because I'm quite intrigued, because this happened to me a couple of years ago, and it's something that I'll never forget. No. Also, I'm a lot more on top of my messages than I used to be, although I can still be a bit lax from time to time.
Can't we all?
My problem is I get a message that comes in, and I click on it to open it because I'm really curious. Then I forget that I've opened it.
It's been marked as read.
Mm-hmm. And I try and mark it unread sometimes. But that only works on like Instagram messages and Facebook messages. It doesn't work on WhatsApp.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't.
Yes, it.
I can't do that.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay, you're gonna have to show me that after the podcast.
That's literally because I hate WhatsApp. So that's the only way I actually get anything done on WhatsApp is by marking everything as unread.
Do you guys get ghosted a lot by like potential clients, like you know, that are like wanting to book you, say, for a wedding, and you'll give them a price?
Yeah.
Again, it'll be like on WhatsApp, you see the 2 blue ticks, and they're responding like quickly.
Yeah.
And then then we'll get down to the price, and then it'll be just radio silence. They just ghost you. They just don't reply back.
Yeah.
That's it then. Yeah. Do you get that?
I do get that, but I do everything on email, so I don't get the 2 little ticks.
All right.
Because I have
But it's the same thing.
Yeah, but I don't know if they've read it or not. So sometimes I'll quote them, and then it might have gone to spam. So I've got to chase them up, and they go, "Oh my god, I didn't realise." Yeah. And then other times they do just completely blank me, and I'm like, "For the love of God, I have like 5 people waiting for this date, but I've kind of promised it to you. At least let me know if you want it or not." That's the way to be a good client.
Yep.
Like, we will not be offended if you say, "I'm sorry, I can't afford you," or change your mind, or someone's a bit cheaper. If they're cheaper, go with the cheaper when they won't be as good. But like, it doesn't make a difference. Just tell us. And then at least we can release that date. It's not messing us around. It's not messing around our finances. And we can actually go to somebody else who really wants us but might not get us because we're provisionally booked with your fake booking.
Unfortunately, though, we're preaching to people that are going through the exact same thing.
I know, but they will all be sat in their car going, yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. No, it does. Yeah. It happens all the time. And I also get, what annoys me, to be honest, is when people say, like, and I won't say it's agencies all the time, because I love agencies. I get a lot of my work from agencies, but it's those that I've never worked with before that say, "This is how much you're going to get paid," and I'm like, "Oh mate, but I'm self-employed. Like, I'm going to tell you how much I charge, rather than the other way around." And some people really don't like it when I do that. I'm like, "Nah, sorry, that's too low. I'm this," and they're like, "How dare you tell me how much you are?"
Well, then don't book me.
Well, yeah, there is that. I'm sure people. Have you got that?
I don't work for agencies, so
fair.
No, I do agree. One thing that I have actually found that helps with the ghosting, though, because sometimes I'll chase them up because somebody will come and inquire, and it says like, "Oh, they inquired in August and we're now in December." I'm like, they're not going to want it, but I'll just chase them up and just be like, "Oh, just double checking. I'm going to have to release your date now." And they go, "Oh, no, we want you now." And I'm like, because the other gig was better. And it was closer, probably a bit more money. But I've chased them up, and 4 months down the line, they've gone, "Oh my God, yeah, actually, that'd be great."
See, I mean, if that was me, I'd literally just go with the other gig that was like closer, and that was better because you've had the opportunity. I think I'm just a little bit too nice. You've had the opportunity to book me and pay the first payment.
The first payment.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and you haven't, so that's on you.
Yeah, very, very true.
People say to me, "Can you hold this date?" And I say, "I'm sorry, no, I can't. I will let you know though if somebody like pays the payment for that date, but I can't hold it, you know, for you." And I do feel a bit bad about that sometimes, a bit sad about that because I'd like to, but because it is a first come first serve, I feel like financially you're not doing right by yourself.
No, well, I feel like what I try and do is if they say, "Can you please hold the date whilst you try and get the finances in order?" I'll say, "Yeah, absolutely fine, but I'll let you know if someone else comes along."
Yeah, fair.
And then when someone else does come along, I'll say, "Can you pay now or not?" Because, and sometimes they go, "Yeah," and sometimes they go, "I really can't, just release the booking, I'm sorry." And then it's a bit more fair on everybody. But what I've started to do on all my quotes now is basically at the end of it say like, "This quote will last from 14 days or this date will be provisionally booked from 14 days of this quote." Sometimes you need to think about it, have a chat with a friend, see if they can get the finances together, and then they'll go ahead. They can't just do it instantly sometimes. Yeah. But then that just kind of gives me a little bit of a scapegoat, 14 days. Because then if 2 months has gone down and I still haven't got a booking, I can go back to them. But if I do get another booking that's better, then I can just take it.
Yeah.
So
For me though, the like I don't release or not release or that term. For me, I like until you pay me the first payment, like it's up for grabs for anyone.
Yeah.
yeah, but what if you've got what if you've got somebody who messaged you on Monday, and then you've sent them an email and they've replied back, but they haven't actually said yes, we're gonna go ahead yet. They're saying, can you give me more information? And there's someone else who's like emailed on Tuesday, and you're kind of in the same little bit with everybody. Are you not gonna?
Yeah, but I'd say to them, just to let you know, there is someone interested in this same date and time, and then I'll tell them it will be a first come first serve thing. That's it, really. But I tend to not really have those issues, thankfully, or I might have those issues, but because of my head, I don't even realise. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm free. I'm free.
Your head or your calendar?
Yeah. We are going to move forward, and to my favourite bit of the podcast, which it has been each week, and that is gig stories. I love these very much. Andy, you've got one.
I have.
I've
got a couple.
He's got a big grin on his face because
I'll do.
This one he's thinking about in particular that you've already mentioned.
I've already mentioned it to you. I just have to say it. But I'll do that one second. I'll do the first one first. Funny gig story. It was a while ago. I can't remember where it was or anything. Like, it was at a wedding. I remember that. Doing my thing, and there was kind of like she was maybe about 65 or something like that, this woman, and finding her card and pull out a card, it's not hers, shake it in front of her, it instantly changes, it looks like a camera trick, it's not, changes, and normally people are just like, oh my God, and she decides to just faint right there and then. No joke.
Oh my God.
Right there.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh yeah, what do I do? She kind of like went back into like I think it was like her son at the time, and he had a drink, and it was just, whoa, what's going on? And just like laid it down. She was out for maybe 2-3 seconds, and she came back around and she went, what? That's all she said was what? Like looking up at us all, and like everyone was laughing, and like she just said like I just remember seeing this card change. That's all, and yeah, she's fainted.
Mental
right there
overload.
I don't know what happened, but I was like, wow. That's powerful.
I am magic
stuff, that isn't it?
That is great.
From a card, from a bit of sleight of hand, like that obviously looks like real magic, and I was just like, wow.
That is impressive.
Second story, a little bit more risque.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now I will have to edit bleeps.
So
I'm so intrigued.
Was that a wedding? It was my first gay wedding.
Love a gay wedding.
Great, really nice guys that were getting married. Awesome. I won't say where it was or anything. I might tell you later.
Okay.
And gay wedding. So obviously there's going to be other gay boys there, gay lads there. And it goes over to the group and all these like lads. And I'm doing magic, and I'm doing my thing, blah, 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 and I do it. And like the reaction from this one guy, he just jaw drops, and he just looked at me and went, have you ever been off by a bloke before? And I just went, no, I've not, mate. Sorry, I've not. And then he said, well, tonight's your lucky night. And I said, it's not, mate, but thanks for the offer anyway.
Good God.
I thought you were going to say you made something else appear.
he wanted me to make something else appear.
No, I've got so much editing.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, mate.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We've got a few that have come in through the powers of social media. One is horrific. The other one is hilarious. I'm going to start with the horrific one first. This comes from Jessica LeJudge, who is a fantastic contortionist. And she says, on my very first gig, I was underage in a club dressed as a scary clown. Someone walked over to me and squeezed both my breasts and casually walked off, leaving me stunned inside a scary clown mask. Which, you know how I said funny stories? Everyone's take on that word funny is very different, because it's awful that happened.
Yeah.
And
I mean, to be fair, like you said, probably happened to me. Been there.
Has it happened to you?
Oh, multiple times.
We've talked previously
from a lad.
Not always.
Yeah, no.
Not always.
Wow.
We've talked previously about basically sexual assault, because that's what that is happening to us in our jobs. Happened to me. I know it's happened to you. I'm guessing it's happened to you as well, Andy.
Not that I can.
Oh, really?
Think of no.
So it must be maybe a
I
musician
mean, you're
thing.
probably there when people are slightly less drunk. Because
Yeah,
you leave earlier. When we arrive, they're much more well oiled.
I mean, I have done the evening reception. I do try to avoid it because of like everyone's too drunk and all that stuff. But I can't think of a time where I've had someone like physically put their hands on me and
Oh no, I actually
in that way.
It's awful.
Really? So you've had that, Callum? You've had someone
Yeah, I was mentioning a couple. I
grab
can't
you or
remember
whatever? Like,
Yeah. It's usually women of a certain age.
I'm going to say a
like
woman.
to-
A woman, yeah.
Yeah, like to pinch me buttocks,
Right.
buttocks, bum. Yeah, that's happened quite a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've had that?
I've had it multiple times, like more
Wow.
times than I can count. There's one time that stands out to me though, and just because of how bizarre it was. So I turned up to this Scouse wedding. I'm not saying where it was, not saying who it was for. But I turned up and they were already all absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
Like swinging each other around, skirts were up in the air, women were on the floor. It was just like carnage. I was trying to set up and someone had like fallen back into the big light up letters and drinks had gone all over me. I hadn't even got changed yet. And they're like, I tried to hold this man up whilst holding this light up letter. I was trying to protect my gear, covered in beer. It was like horrific.
Wow.
So anyway, I thought, oh God, here we go. Got my glass of wine early that night. Came back, set up my kit. I needed it.
Any excuse?
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to go set my kit up and started playing. And the DJ was like raised up on a stage. And then there were light up the letters. And then there was me. And there was a sax player. So we started playing literally 20 seconds in. I think I'd like hit the cymbal, like, this is the rhythm of the hit the cymbal, put my hands up in the air and was like, woo, trying to get everyone going. That's all I'd done. The bride came over, put her arm around my waist and like cheered, kissed me on the cheek, arm around my bum, pinched it, and then went straight up my skirt
Oh my god.
and cupped everything you can cup
That's awful.
Wow.
in front of everybody,
Wow.
and no one saw because it was behind, her hand was behind me for one. I'm behind the kit.
Yeah.
The DJ behind me and the bride is light up letters, so the DJ couldn't see anything, and no one at the front could see anything. And I was like, just so in shock, I just didn't even move. And I was like, did she meant to do, like, you know what I mean? Like, almost like you question it, like, did she mean to do that? And then she kind of like went to the sax player, arm around him, cheered, and I was just like, in such shock, literally after being on stage for 20 seconds. And I looked at her and she turned around, like, winked at me.
Oh.
And I thought, oh my God, and it was a hetero wedding.
Yeah.
And I was just in so much like shock and awe and not really knowing what to do. I was like, I should play. I haven't even done anything. I've hit a cymbal. That's all I've done. So I like played for an extra 15 minutes. I think it was meant to be like a 25 or a 30 minutes there. Played 15 minutes and just walked off stage. And then I walked to the little guy who was helping out that time. I was like, I effing hate this gig. And he was like, why? What's happened? And I just went into the back room and just had a mental breakdown, like full on anxiety attack. And the guy like who worked with us went to go tell the person, the night staff, saying like what had happened, like the bride needs cutting off. And she had absolutely no recollection, no idea, because she was so smashed.
Yep.
And but obviously they'd all seen my reaction, and the poor people at the venue are bringing me more wine, and I'm just vaping openly in this stately home, like
Trying to get yourself through it.
trying to get myself through it.
Oh my god.
And then apparently the bride
Oh my
came. The
God.
bride came back in, and she didn't come in, but she'd asked somebody to ask where I was. And it was this whole kind of strange thing because the manager of the venue had said like, if you want to say that you've had a family emergency and you can leave, we can tell her that. And I was like, well, no, because then I don't get paid. It was that whole
You
strange
hadn't
thing.
been paid yet.
No, because it was for an agency, so I get paid after the event.
Okay.
So I was like, if I leave, I don't get paid. And there's no cameras in that room and no one saw.
Right. Okay.
So I then had just to man up and just go on and get on with it again.
That's
Right.
crazy. That's
And
awful.
yeah, that was from the bride, man.
Yeah.
So like, if you imagine that's the bride, imagine how bad some other people can be.
There's a lot of this that goes on. Yeah, so Jess, very sorry that you had to deal with that.
That's
I feel your
insane.
pain, my darling.
It's crazy.
Vile. Yeah, awful. And it doesn't really matter what age you are at that point. You know, underage is
Yeah, it's even more
awful
horrific.
to go through. But even when you're not,
Yeah.
so yeah, my heart goes out to that story really. This one though, this is a happier, more comical note.
Okay.
So this one comes from Emma on Sax. That's her Instagram name.
Shout out.
And she has written this on behalf of her partner called Jacob. Her husband, actually. They've just recently got married. Husband Jacob Sludden. Might have pronounced that incorrectly. So it goes... Jacob has the most fantastic gig story you've ever heard, and no, it really is. Long story short, the bride took so many drugs, she lost control of her bowels and pooed herself. Ruined the bridal suite, got it all over herself, and guests were leaving because she literally smelled like sewage.
Oh my God.
So that was one he'll never forget.
Oh my God, that's horrific.
Isn't it? If you're eating at the time of listening to that, sorry about that. And if you are eating, it has reminded me of a story. So just put down whatever you're eating because it's going to continue from this point.
Oh my God.
So I want you to imagine you're playing in a club. I'm definitely not saying where or what club. And it'd been raining that night. And
I know this one.
Oh, right, you know this story.
I think I do.
It'd been raining that night, and all of a sudden the rainwater had started coming through the ceiling on top of the DJ decks. And I was like, oh no, like I could see this happening. I was like, I need to save the decks. Hilariously, the DJ had an umbrella. He put it up to save this rainwater coming in. And I was like, I rolled up my sleeves, grabbed some glasses, trying to catch as much of this rainwater as possible for then the drummer at the time to say, mate, that's not rainwater. That's wee from the men's toilets. And I was like, oh, because it was all over my hands. Oh. And I was like, no. And what made it worse was at the time that this was happening, I remember, and I can see this clear as day now, and this was quite a few years ago, there was a man who stuck out his tongue to catch what he thought was rainwater. Oh, no. I was seeing someone at the time, and they were at the gig, and they just went, don't touch me. Don't touch and opposite the, I wanted to go and use the toilet to wash my hands, of course, but they weren't letting anyone in the toilet because they had to close it off because it was flooded, and that's what was coming through the ceiling. And the only place I could go was basically to another club that was on the same road. And at the time, and maybe still the case nowadays, I've not really been out much, but they don't really like males on their own going into clubs. They're like, why are you trying to go?
Especially
why
smelly males on their own.
Yeah, and I was holding out my hands.
We don't want you in here.
I was holding out my hands because I didn't want to put them down. I just wanted them away from my body, even though they're attached to my body. I was holding them out. And they were like, why do you want to come in here? And I was like, because I really like the music. And that's what I said. I ran in, washed my hands, and ran back to the club to continue my set.
You continued your set?
Well, yeah. I mean...
What do you mean, well, yeah?
Why wouldn't I? I washed my hands at that point.
It's literally raining men in the club.
I mean...
I thought that was quite quick, actually.
It was good. I enjoyed that.
But why did you continue? I thought the club would be closed.
No.
Had you not been paid? Is that what I continued.
Yeah, I did. And funnily enough, not long after that relationship went to pot.
Oh, did it go down the toilet, did it?
It went down the toilet. Wait, hold on a minute. Oh, wait, no, wrong one.
Hey.
There's applause and a drum for that
Thank
one.
you.
Probably deserved.
Flushed away.
If you do have great stories like the ones that you've just heard, please either email them in at wemakeithappenpodcast@gmail.com or our Instagram or our TikTok or our Facebook. You can message us there at We Make It Happen Podcast. They're all pretty much the same. That would be great. We're not finished yet. You're closing your laptop like you're done. She's ready to go home. I was wondering whether we could actually finish out. Now, we normally just finish out there, but I was wondering if we could finish out on you telling us where people can find you.
Yeah.
Which is
Instagram at Rockstar Magic.
And then maybe a magic trick?
Sure.
Can I close my laptop now?
We'll do something quick.
On.
Okay,
I can't close mine because it will stop recording.
Okay. I'm stuck to a sofa.
So,
hang on, I'm still stuck to a sofa. Right.
For those that are listening, Andy's bringing out a packet of cigarettes. Oh no, cards.
Playing cards. So this is a full pack of 52 cards.
Are you just going to throw them all over?
They're
now
all
and tell
there.
me to pick them all
Yeah,
up.
we'll leave them here in full view.
Okay.
Now, inside of here, before I came here today, I've made a prediction.
Okay.
Okay, there's a card. It stands out from the rest of the deck. I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a second. It's going to sit right there anyway. Christy. I want you to say a number out loud. Let's go between 1 and 10.
7.
7. Are you sure?
No, 8.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You
8.
sure?
8.
8 feels right.
Yeah.
Callum. There's 4 suits in a pack of cards. Spades, hearts, clubs, and diamonds. Say one.
Clubs.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You want to change?
No, but you want me to, do you?
It's up to you.
No, I don't want to change.
If you put it together, it makes the 8 of clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I said that there's a card inside of here that stands out from the rest of the
Did
deck.
you say 8?
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, you
I
did,
said
yeah.
8. And
Yeah.
I made sure not to forget, so I put it on my
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah.
So the 8 of clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you inside of here. Okay, come closer.
Oh my God.
Are you ready? Watch. Look. Now, inside of here, you're going to notice that all the cards, they're all face up, right? Every single one of these cards is face up, apart from this one. It's the only one face down. Take it out.
I don't want to, I'm scared.
Turn it
Oh,
over.
mate.
Show it to them.
Is it really? Oh, my gosh. Show the cameras. That is amazing.
Ow!
Yeah, that's
How? Oh, don't tell
incredible.
me how.
No, don't tell us how, because that's literally your job.
This one cuts out. Should I just...
That is amazing. Yeah, faint. Don't forget the mic.
Sorry. Too busy fainting.
Too busy fainting. That is incredible. Thank you
ma'am.
for that.
Thank you.
Wild.
Yeah, for those listening, just when you go home safely, and I really hope that your drive is safe if you are driving and listening
If you're
to
tired,
this.
pull over.
Yes, we always say that. If you're tired, pull over. Yeah, you've missed a treat. Go back home and watch it. That was amazing. Thank
insane.
you so much
Thank
for
you, guys. Thank you for having me.
joining. It has been brilliant to have you on.
Thank you.
And yeah, check out your Instagram at
Rockstar Magic.
Rockstar Magic.
Woo!
Fantastic. I have been Callum, Sweet on Sax, and you have been
Christic Strumming.
See you later, guys. Have a
Bye.
lovely, lovely, lovely,
early.
lovely,
Lovely. Lovely.
rest of your week. And maybe we'll see you in either 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not
We're
going to
gonna
tell you
aim
what.
for 2.
Yeah, we'll aim for 2, but we don't want to stress ourselves out. All right, see you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.